Henry David Thoreau said that the path of least resistance leads to crooked rivers and men. Now, World Bank and IMF and all these Muzungu establishments, they were fond of William Ruto because he could bend over backwards to placate to them, to push their agenda, to do the things that they want at the expense of our economy, at the expense of the citizenry. And so it was a bit surprising to see the US ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, today distancing herself from the comments, but she because of her non-existent moral sensibilities, she did not dispute the fact that the last year's elections were marred with irregularities, that IEBC is a corrupt outfit, that Wafula Chebukati was bribed to make announcements that the returning officers are corrupt, that the IEBC needs to be overhauled. She did not even come close to saying that she was only triggered by the backlash because in her warped mind, she thought that she should just make a comment and it should just fly without being challenged. It's the same thing, which is now the irony that now she's starting to distance herself from the toxic comments that she's been making in support of this corrupt regime. Yet she's the same one who even supported the finance bill. And you all know that the finance bill 2023 is the most oppressive law that has ever been passed in Kenya. And there she was, there shouting, you know, the finance bill is okay, so that we can continue being an oppressed person. And then now they can bring us shoddy characters, docky white characters like Mr. Beast to come and with unverified claims of well digging. Nobody can show you how many the number of schools. Nobody can give you an audited accounts of how much he spent. And now we are supposed to digest that. We are supposed to clap for them just because they have come. No. We are in a new era. Whatever you say, you have to either stand by it or wait for the challenge. And now you are trying to play to the gallery because you have seen that this regime perhaps is not towing to your line, and now you want to now pretend. No. Own your lunatic, Meg Whitman. President Ruto is your project. Hold on to him. Stop switching up sides. Now that you have seen that perhaps it's becoming untenable to continue defending a corrupt and regime like William Ruto. So don't stop. So you know, stop switching sides, Meg Whitman. Stay with your person. Your person is William Ruto. Stay there. So I ran a poll on Twitter where I was asking people, which do you think will have a lasting impact in Kenya? And the number one was Mr. Beast free water, free borehole, and number two was Julius Malema's town hall speech where he made the other day, and he was talking about his truth and how William Ruto has become a contradictory figure. Says one thing, does the exact opposite. You know, he had when he was in France, he was talking about a universal currency for the African continent, and then when he comes here, he's just doing what the World Bank and IMF tell him. That's why you're seeing the shilling on is weakening, because Kamau Thuge and Professor Njuguna Ndongo, these are IMF stalwarts, these are IMF hoodlums. They do as they are told, because all of them know, the Western establishment know that if Kenya is given a chance, if there is a conducive environment, then we are going to take a quantum leap. And they have seen how other countries like China have moved from being a third world developing country into challenging the global order. They have seen other, you know, and they are scared. They don't want countries which are independent. They want people who can bend over, like President William Ruto. That's why they turn a blind eye when successive corrupt regimes use their banking systems to launder our proceeds of crime. You understand? And now our money is hidden in Western banks, in Western capitals. You saw the Pandora Papers. All Uhuru and his brother Mohoho and his mother have hidden money in Switzerland and all those places. If that money came back, first of all, we wouldn't need those philanthropic handouts that Mr. Beast is giving us. Number two, if Kenyans used your voices, if you voted wisely, if you're able to petition your elected leaders, you wouldn't need to be humiliating yourselves in front of the world like those young boys who are there. Hey, hi, you young boys who have been brainwashed from an early age to think of this white savior mentality. then you are there celebrating them. It's unfortunate. So it was disturbing to see that people voted that Mr. Beast's borehole will have a lasting impact. I mean, how many boreholes are there in Kenya? I have neighbors myself who have boreholes. I have people somewhere, they've dug boreholes for people, but because there's 2 boreholes which have been verified and another 50 which haven't been verified, those ones now, and they are accompanied with so much publicity and PR. You see, your addiction to cheap PR is what is even fueling the corruption in this government. Because look at what we are talking. Where tomorrow is a public holiday. First of all, nobody requested for a public holiday, and then now they come with. They come with now all the CSs. You remember, CSs are overpaid and underworked chronic buffoons. Now they come there, National Tree Planting Day. Whole of government approach. You know, cheap PR, this is something that Itumbi can think about, because just photoshopping and collaging photos of CSs, now that is a big achievement, and you are supposed to get these and put it on your Twitter account and give them free publicity. You understand? The problem is you, and you're easily baited. How do you even validate this lunacy? That and then now there is a letter there written. I'm posting this because Kenyans in diaspora, I'm now going to be shooting longer videos because of you, because you need to be updated. You need to be updated, the Kenyans in diaspora. You are the most important component of this grand scheme of things, and I will get to there shortly. That the Office of the Cabinet Secretary plan for National Tree Growing Day on Monday. And then they say blah, blah, blah. And then we are employing a whole government approach in this exercise. That is the 3rd paragraph. County commissioners shall convene, coordinate technical planning teams, blah, blah, blah. You know, a lot of garbage. Now, every CS will be engaged, and CSs will be moving from county to county with helicopters. So on Monday, on the tree planting day, on Monday, there will be at least 30 helicopters in the air to ferry these chronic buffoons, these overpaid and underworked bureaucrats who sit in the office and do nothing, these cabinet secretaries. Yeah, and their PSs and whoever they are. This is the most disgusting crop of government that we've ever had since since independence. So we are going to look at a low-hanging fruit. Let's look at one of the CSs. We are going to get Ababu Namwamba, Cabinet Secretary of Sports, Ababu Namwamba. He will be in Kilifi at Aruko somewhere with his PS or something, and then on the same day he's going to be in Bungoma. So he has to go to Kilifi to whatever, and then he has to go to his home county of Bungoma. Now that will be the same routine of all the other cabinet secretaries. They'll be here, so they'll just be transversing. So tomorrow they are going to pollute the environment with helicopters, more defeating the logic, defeating the purpose of even the tree planting day in itself. You understand? This is how you guys have been taken for fools. This is how you continue. You continue basking in the mediocrity of this regime because you want to retweet such useless news. Now, let me show you somebody in Canada. This guy is called Antoine Moses. Antoine Moses, he's a Guinness Book of World Record holder for planting trees. This is just one person. Now, see him how he's planting trees. He's there. He has 2 bags. He's there. He puts them. Now you can see he's planting. And he has planted 23,000 trees in a single day. He's the Guinness World Record holder for planting trees. Look, this is just a one-man operation. One-man operation. No helicopters. No a lot of shenanigans here. People trying to pretend that they are working for the... For the government, for the good of the government, but it's never for the good of the government. These guys are just there to distract your attention. Don't forget that President Ruto had once said that there is 50 billion shillings which is lying idle in CBK. He was asking governors to spend this money which is lying idle. These are some of the areas, these are some of the activities which they find, which they use to spend our money. Like now, tomorrow, the greatest beneficiaries will not be the environment. It will be the people who are hiring out helicopters. These people don't think, even when they are perpetrating their corrupt ways, even when they are thinking of stealing money, they are not creative. You see, you have to be creative. You see, Ruto is always with Muzungus. I mean, don't Muzungus show you how to steal intelligently? The Muzungus, when you wouldn't even know they are doing any corrupt activities, but it is so flawless because they are also integrating us with other things. But these ones are going all out. They are showing you we are stealing your money, Mutadu. Like now, Julius Malema, you know, these jokes keep writing themselves. Rigiji was somewhere in Kilifi in an Anglican church. And he started criticizing Julius Malema. Julius Malema, I came to your country, there are blackouts, and I didn't speak because you guys have, in South Africa, they call it load shedding by the national power company called Eskom. And, you know, just a few hours afterwards, then there is a blackout. There is a national blackout in the country, including Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Haven't you ever asked yourself why there is never a backup generator at Jomo Kenyatta Airport? Because it's all, everyone is speculating that it's all a gold smuggling operation. So how much will our national productivity be sacrificed for the benefit of a few cartels? This is crazy how this country is sinking. Though we were talking about Rigiji in Kilifi, where he was attending an ACK gathering. And, you know, Pauline Joroge had done a very long post, which is, I'm going to read for you over here. So Pauline Joroge on Facebook, between 2018 and 2022, I'm on the second paragraph, Uhuru would meet with archbishops and bishops from mainstream churches and explain to them what was going on in government. And with his fellowship relationship with Ruto, the bishops would then meet Ruto, who would give them a different story, very convincing narrative, and even cry while at it. They would end up believing his side of the story. The only bishop who was listening to Uhuru and seemed to fully trust his word was Silas Yego. The other bishops are now seeing with their mouths after realizing they fell for lies and conman. Then, of course, yesterday we had the Saturday Nation. Bishops protest the high taxes and KRA pressure. So my point is, I'm not focusing on the story and the revelations that are coming from Pauline Joroge. Is the fact that you can see these bishops, these the religious leaders are so intertwined with the political establishment that we no longer have the doctrine of separation of power, of separation between the church and state. That it no longer exists. It seems that now church is the state and vice versa. So in 2014, that's when I stopped attending church services myself in 2014. Not because of anything, because but in Kenya, when you criticize the government, the church, they're always ready to project you that guy is now a devil worshipper, that guy is now an atheist, he is now a pagan. You are always labeled, but just because you have noted a contradiction with how religious leaders carry themselves, and they are no longer serving the good of humanity. They are no longer serving the purpose of a better mankind, a betterment of mankind. They are now tumbocrats, these religious leaders, because the question is, why as governments, why are they meeting religious leaders? These guys have no skills, have no pattern of building or running industries. Why isn't he meeting industrialists, innovators, inventors, people who will give him the actual picture on the ground? Why is every regime's only meeting religious leaders? Because of the brainwash. President Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto invaded our most private and intimate spaces, because me, when I go to church, I want to go to detox. I want to go and zone out from what has been happening during the entire week. But here, I've gone to church in 2014, that time when I stopped going to church. I heard there was a circular written by the Catholic Archbishop. By then it was Eliud Wabukala. He had sent a circular that was read out to all churches promoting Uhuru's imaginary achievements. And you could see Wabukala, when he later resigned, he was appointed as a chairman of EACC, where he never successfully concluded any case, any court case. He never pursued any corruption case. All they were just doing, EACC, was arresting policemen, extorting bribes. You understand? Which is within their mandate, but they never went for high-level graft, because he had already been compromised by the corruption cartels, including Uhuru Kenyatta. So why are successive regimes always, meeting with religious leaders. Religious leaders, what value do they have? For instance, we could see this legislation about alcohol, and I told you the corruption pattern of every government is they do something and then they leave to the next. Like now, Uhuru last year in June is when he signed the alcohol legislation. So now who is using money? Who is making money from it? The Uhuruto regime, the Ministry of Interior. So there is a symbiosis between, even though they are fighting in public, in private they are still doing a lot of things together. Like you'd see Uhuru, the Northlands airstrip was approved this year. You'd see NCBA, the profit that they are making is the most. Like now this year is when they've really consolidated. So are they really fighting? No. The same blueprint of using religion to brainwash their followers. Yeah. So the key here is now you have to be keen. So you can imagine there's just been a blackout as I'm doing this video. This government is really pathetic. Joseph Siror, the KPLC MD, he's a corrupt bastard. I don't know how we are going to help this country. That even when I'm shooting a video, there is a blackout. A blackout just happens. We become a country of blackouts. Why? Because we are placating to independent power producers. We are independent power producers which are owned by the same cartels that this regime is purporting to fight for, or to fight. People like Gideon Moi and Nicholas B. Watt. Kiraito Murungi, you know, he's also linked to our fuel problems because he's the one who created the parastatal called Energy Petroleum Regulatory Authority. This is rubbish, man. I'm shooting a video here talking about bad governance, and bad governance meets me. How rubbish is this country, man? I've seen there's a guy on TikTok, a guy with dreads. He was there arguing about me. He was there, Francis guy. He was so angry. Look at him. He doesn't look like even he takes a shower. Penda maji bro, kwanza. Penda maji na utafute kichanuo ya ndevu. Penda maji. So he's there. He's angry at me because I am talking about bad governance. Instead of using that same anger and energy to petition his elected leaders, if he did that video to his MP, to his governor, to his MCA, perhaps we would be at a better place in this country. But now you have been told to hate somebody. I have not been elected or appointed in any government office. So why would you throw shade at me? Because I am using my gadgets, my internet, my non-existent electricity. Clearly there is no power. I'm using a rechargeable lamp over here, and now you're blaming me, or you're accusing me, or you're doing a video blasting me. Don't you have better things to do in this life? I'm not the enemy. You need to, first of all, in your journey to awaken, to awakening, you need to first figure out who your real enemy is. If you think that your enemy is Guido, then you're mistaken. If you think that waking up and shooting video like this, Wesley Jeff is most of the time he's on TikTok hawking ARVs and using that Muzungu narrative that, oh, everyone is sick, everyone. I used to hear that narrative when they used to besmirch a country like South Africa. They used to say 1 in every 3 people in South Africa are infected. Do you understand? So Wesley Jeff has taken on that trajectory, and then now he comes there hawking ARVs, and then now you come to criticize me when I talk about Mr. Beast. Come on, Wesley Jeff, look for something better to do with your life. You understand? I told you your language and whatever, you are the office snitch. You are the quintessential office snitch. You speak too much and there is zero substance in your content. So look, I'm not the enemy. I'm not the one who has stolen your opportunities. I'm not the one who has repatriated your money to foreign banks. I'm not the one who has passed the finance bill. It's your MPs. Your MPs did you see a notification from Farmers Choice that even the pig farmers will be forced to be registered as taxpayers? Pig farmers. Can you imagine MPs? They are even passing bills that are retrogressive, and they are affecting the very animals that are named after them. How shameless. You have no loyalty to the animals that you are named after, the pigs. So anyway, look, I don't have power. I don't have light over here. The power has just disconnected while I was shooting this video. You can't make this stuff up. And then you don't be told to believe by people on Twitter. Like now there's a lady on Twitter. I did a post and I was just talking about I was talking about the tomorrow's shenanigans about about the tree planting by the government. And then I'm like, the minimum, there'll be 30 helicopters tomorrow transversing the country to ferry overpaid and underworked chronic buffoons called Cabinet Secretaries. And then this chick, she's called Kare Mwari. So will you do a podcast about it? Because all you do is make podcasts and pretend you care. Look, I'm not the enemy. Please keep that same energy to the people you elected. Is not to strangers on the internet. Me, I'm just here, just passing time, shooting a video. If you think that I pretend I care, then why don't you then care? Why don't you petition? Why don't you make a video now? Wherever you are, I think you're from Meru. I've seen Moire, you're from Meru. Why don't you petition your Meru governor? Meru, first of all, is a dead town. There is no even nightlife. People have to drive all the way to Nanyuki because you've killed your own nightlife. Because when you go to elect, you are electing idiots like Kiraito Murungi and Kawera Mwangaza. Kawera Mwangaza has spent the last 2 years just doing politicking and appointing her husband to various roles and nepotism. The senators were bribed the other day to give her a free pass. So you don't be here like now. This chick Cookie, she looks like she's one of she's Osama. She's in Osama Otero's coterie of groupies. So please, just because I have beef with somebody else, don't mean you jump in it. Have some sense of individualism. Look, interrogate issues. Don't look at the personalities. Don't look at me. I'm just here like every other Kenyan suffering. The electricity has gone while we are still here. While I'm still having a conversation with you. So know who your enemy is and attack there. Don't attack strangers on the internet. Don't attack somebody who has not stolen your money. I've not stolen your money. I'm in the same kind of trials and tribulations as you. I'm still paying a lot of money. Tomorrow they are going to announce the fuel prices, the fuel increase. They want to take it to 300 shillings. Am I the one who is doing it? No. You know, is a constellation of the Amune Wankas who are in control of the energy sector, beginning with Davis Chirchir. And then there is the EPRA guy with a fake British accent. There is the KPLC guy, Joseph Siror. There is the Kenya Pipeline guy. All of them is a constellation of ethnic appointments who are behind your fuel crisis, not me. So expand your anger. Keep that same energy. Shoot the right people. Shoot the right enemy, not strangers on the internet. That's all. That's all for today. I wish I could shoot long. I would have shot long, but clearly I don't have any power even to upload.